What happened to Savoy Brown? The group was formed in 1965 by guitarist Kim Simmons and harmonica player John O'Leary. The original lineup included singer Bryce Porteous, the only black blues singer in the entire Brit blues movement, keyboardist Bob Hall, guitarist Martin Stone, bassist Ray Chappell, and drummer Leo Manning. The word Savoy came from an American blues label, Savoy Records, as the members of the band thought the word Savoy sounded elegant. This crew appeared on the band's 1967 debut Shakedown, a collection of blues covers. Seeking a different approach, Simmons dissolved that group. Initially, Bob Running and Huey Flint from John Mayall's Clapton version Blues Breakers filled the bassist and drummer positions on the single Taste and Try Before You Buy, but they were subsequently replaced by Rivers Job and Bill Bruford. He enlisted guitarist Dave Peverett, bassist Tony Stevens, drummer Roger Earl, and singer Chris Yolden. Yolden was one of the most distinctive frontmen to emerge from the 60s in any genre. Adorned in a bowler hat and monocle, he was deeply schooled in blues, R&B, and jazz, with his flexible baritone effortlessly croon, lament, shout, and roar with soul. Bruford went on to huge success later as Yes's drummer. This version of Savoy Brown issued some of their most enduring albums, including Getting to the Point and 1969's Blue Matter that netted the original hit single Train to Nowhere. That same year, they released the half-live, half-studio classic A Step Further. Yolden left the band in 1970 following Raw Sienna. Shortly after the album Looking In, Peverett, Earl, and Stevens departed to form Foghat with guitarist Rod Price. Simmons assembled yet another lineup and began a hectic tour of America, showcasing the group's now refined bluesy boogie rock style with new lead vocalist Dave Walker. From 1971's Street Corner Talking on, that sound stubbornly dominated their catalog. Walker also fronted the band on the commercially successful Lion's Share and the charting Hellbound Train in 1972. The latter's unusually psychedelic title track became a hit single. Savoy Brown briefly split following 1973's Jack the Toad, but Simmons reformed them the following year for Boogie Brothers. In 1975, a new lineup featuring keyboardist and vocalist Paul Raymond from Chicken Shack and later UFO issued Wire Fire, the first of 3 well-received albums from the London label, and that was followed by Skin and Bone in 1976 and Savage Return in 1978. After leaving Savoy Brown for the first time in the 70s, singer Dave Walker joined Fleetwood Mac for one album and in early 1978 became the temporary lead singer for Black Sabbath. During the 80s, Simmons got philosophical about the band's revolving door membership, and he continued to tour and record. The decade delivered critically important recordings for several labels, including Rock and Roll Warriors in 1981 and Slow Train, an album of acoustic music on Indie Relics. That same year, they performed major arena shows in the U.S. alongside Judas Priest and recorded a live album at the Rainbow Music Hall in Denver. Greatest Hits Live in Concert was released at the end of the year, featuring Run to Me as the sole studio track, as the single had appeared previously only on the German version of Rock and Roll Warriors. This was the only album to feature John Humphrey, who would go on to work with many major artists such as Carole King and Gary Moore. Make Me Sweat from 1988 and King of Boogie from 1989 appeared on Dave Grusin's G&P Crescendo label. Following 1990's Live and Kicking, the band signed to Germany's SPV for the studio offering Let It Ride. It featured 3 alternating lead vocalists, a host of instrumentals, and a 4th lead vocal from Simmons on the closing track Down All the Days. After 2 world tours, they spent no less than 12 months traveling back and forth across North America, and Savoy Brown released Bring It Home, confusingly co-billed to the band and Simmons. Savoy Brown contributed the song A Man Alone for the soundtrack to the movie Kickboxer 2. While the group toured constantly, they didn't release a studio recording until 1999's The Blues Keep Me Holding On for the European and acoustic label. Though bassist Nathaniel Peterson's handled the lion's share of the album's vocals, Simmons sang on 3 tracks. He also enlisted American roots guitarist Duke Robillard as a guest. Following 3 archival concert offerings, the Bottom Line Encore Collection, Looking from the Outside Live 69-70, and Jack the Toad Live 1970 to 1972, Savoy Brown returned to the studio in late 2002. They released Strange Dreams on American blues indie Blind Pig in 2003. That year, Castle Music, with assistance from former Savoy Brown producer Neil Slavin, issued the seminal archival concert document Hellbound Train Live 1969 to 1972. In 2004, the live You Should Have Been There was also confusingly billed to Savoy Brown featuring Kim Simmons. 2007 Steel marked the band's first album to feature Simmons as lead vocalist throughout. Savoy Brown signed to Germany's vaunted roots label Rough Records for 2011's Voodoo Moon. The 9-song set was produced and engineered by Simmons. He sang on only 2 songs, with the rest delivered by saxophonist Joe Whiting. The live Songs from the Road appeared in 2013, followed by the studio offerings Going to the Delta in 2013 and The Devil to Pay in 2015. In 2017, the band returned for their final label outing, Witchy Feeling, and it hit number 1 on the Billboard Blues Albums chart. Invigorated by that success, Simmons and Savoy Brown returned with the group's 40th career studio album, Ain't Done Yet, in 2020. The concert outing Taking the Blues Back Home arrived later that year as well. Leader and founder Kim Simmons was diagnosed with a rare form of colon cancer in 2021. Unfortunately, he died on December 13, 2022, while in treatment at the age of 75. While undergoing chemo, Simmons temporarily lost feelings in his hands and fingers, yet managed to begin and complete a final album. On Blues All Around, Simmons not only played guitar and sang lead, but also played piano and organ and produced the date. It appeared in February 2023 from Quarto Valley Records. And that's what happened to Savoy Brown. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Give me some facts about the band that I failed to mention, and let me know who I should do next on this channel. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.